Most people have asked them over and over, what college do you want to go to? They never asked them, what college do you want to get through? Or which one to major in? Or what's going to happen afterwards, right? It's always like, where you want to go to college? Okay, well, I want to go to. Stop looking at rankings and stars. Because who can tell me the difference between a 4-star and a 5-star? There isn't one.
What's up, Veronica?
It's the new year.
Yeah, what's going on?
2023.
I'm excited about it.
Yes, and we are, can you believe we still here?
Are they still watching the show?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But okay, so it's a new year, new us. But same Veronica Harris show. I can't say same because we always want to improve, right?
Yeah, it's not the same.
No, it's not the same. We always improve. And today we have a new and improved guest.
Yeah, I mean, you did a good job finding a guest. They weren't relatives or friends.
No, actually, this
Somebody actually people might want to hear about.
Anyway, the guest that we have today, actually, I met him on TikTok. So, you know, I'm out here in the social media.
Get out there. Every now and again, I can scroll. Veronica on there.
Anyway, I saw this young man on TikTok, and he was talking about, you know, just student athletes, but young people in general, and what they need to do to help prepare, to help get them ready for their future.
I know that got you excited.
Yes, that got me excited because, you know, I'm an educator, coach, and a lot of other things, photographer, but advocate. But it's very important for young people to, you know, you have to have a plan. You have to be prepared. Which segues into our next thing, because he actually has what is called a prep school. Most people would know it as a prep school, but they call it a college, because he'll tell us why.
Oh yeah, a prep school is now called a college.
But that's what they called it. But let's get our guest in here so he can tell us all about it and tell us all about himself. We'd like to welcome Mr. Reggie Calhon Jr. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. Y'all are funny. Y'all are funny.
We try to be with, you know, please remember to speak up loud, because for our,
for sure.
We want our
at the camera.
We want our fans to hear you. Our two fans? But anyway, so Mr. Calhoun, could you please tell us about yourself? Because usually we do the bio, but no telling what's going to come out when we say it. So
we don't leave on too much of the good stuff, so
yes,
we'll let you do it.
Yes, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, easy. So originally I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I joined the military out of high school. I'm a former athlete, collegiate athlete. I played football at a Division III in Louisiana also. I moved to Dallas, chasing the NFL. That didn't work out, you know, so ended up just using my degree, which is in health and wellness. I started working on patients in a hospital, working on post-rehab guys who were injured with ACL, working with the geriatrics, doing total knees and total hips, just trying to find my way after sports. Started noticing like a lot of athletes had this mindset of, if I don't go D1, I'm not doing anything. So I started seeing 19-year-olds working at gas stations and at Walmart. And I'm just like, dude, like you're missing out on a whole life, right? So I started just doing like mentorship, showing them different schools, showing them all the different levels. And then I wanted to have a sports team like Jerry Jones. So that was my goal. I wanted to be like Jerry Jones, right? So I wanted to have my own team. And then I found out more about the college space, and I started like attaching courses to it. And I wanted to like educate them more on how to actually get ready for school. So that turned into a academy. And then here we are now, where we're running a full online and in-person prep academy that we kind of branded as a college due to our competition level.
Okay. All right. So we're going to talk more about that competition level, but the name of your academy, your preparatory academy, your college is called RPA, correct?
Yes, RPA.
And what does the RPA stand for?
So in inception, it was Resolution Prep Academy, right?
Resolution
Prep Academy. So resolution, the definition of that is a solution to a problem. So it was Revolution Prep Academy. But you can imagine how going into high school, trying to talk to a coach and saying this long name, right?
Yeah.
So every school that we competed against would just shorten our name as just RPA. And then it stuck. So it was like RPA, RPA, RPA. So that just became the brand. And then we just trademarked the college. So the full name is RPA College Prep. And then, yeah, so the RPA College Prep, we just shortened it because it makes it easier. It rolls off the tongue. It's a nice brand. It flows, you know. So we copyrighted and trademarked that name, and here we are today.
Good for you. And I noticed that whenever I see you on social media, you always have your big RPA nicely shown. So I mean, you're always representing the brand. Okay, cool. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Hey, really quick, what's the population of RPA? How many students you got enrolled in?
So every year, so we start with a new team every year. So we bring in roughly 75 to 80 in football, and then now we're bringing on more sports. So we'll have about 100, 115, and then as we add more sports, the goal is to have physically 150. Nationally is unlimited.
Okay, because because it is for online. But for the people, but you said you want to bring in a team. So obviously, if it's a team, it's the people that are there physically. You can't really, I mean, you can do stuff online if you live in the area, but basically, if you want to be a part of that team, and I mean, right now you have football, you have to physically be in the area. Do you have dorms, or what do you have?
Yeah, so we actually partner with different departments. So we actually do some arbitrage where they'll come and they'll stay in apartments that we refer. And they're next to the university here. So they actually get to mingle with the university kids. So they get that college feel without being in the college. And then if they're not in Texas, we also working on building out a network of prep schools where there's a model done where for those kids who don't want to leave home, there's going to be a prep school located within a close proximity of where they live at. So that's why.
So it sounds like it's almost like those charter schools, like you know how KIPP, that's basically a company. They have these charter schools and all these different. Yep. Okay, so it's going to be like that. Okay. You work for them, right? At one point.
Not yet. No,
the other one. Okay. So let's move on. So I noticed in your bio, you were talking about, you wanted to get back to various organizations. And the one thing you talked about, or you mentioned in your bio, is giving the knowledge of how to navigate the physical, the mental, and emotional roller coaster of being. And I like how you wrote this in big, bold words, student, and then in little words, athlete.
Yeah.
You want to focus on the student and the athlete. And that's something I always did when I talk to my athletes. I always say student, and I say athlete. The emphasis is on student.
On student. And that's just where it needs to be, right? Because as an athlete, we say we're a student of the game, or we're student, like, so you're coming out saying that you want to learn. So why aren't we focusing on the learning piece while playing sports, right? Even if you play sports and you don't learn the game, how long will your career last once you hit the level where people are actually watching film and learning the craft and actually know things about the intricacies of the game that you don't know? So you got to learn something, right? Whether you're going to the academic side or just in your craft alone, you have to know something.
Now, I remember one of your videos, your TikTok videos, you were talking about, I guess, when the students come to you, the academic profile. You said building out their academic profile.
Most athletes have spent their whole 4 year trying to get to the NCAA requirement level. And then they're saying, whatever school comes to get me, I'm cool. But then the school comes to get you and now you're not admissible. So your profile is pretty much irrelevant because you have a 2.3 and an 18, or you got 2.5 and an 18. What school can you actually get into? So what I started noticing is a lot of athletes have this academic profile that's based according to the NCAA, not the university that they want to actually get into. And then most of them don't know a school that they actually want to get into. So then we sit at a stalemate, like whatever comes, but then you have this D1 or nothing mentality, then it's a circle. And before you know it, you're 22 years old wondering, can I get into the D3 now?
Oh my God, you right in that segment, you just talked about so many, like, I think you hit on like at least 3 of your videos that you talked about, because one of them also that I looked into said the NCAA does not dictate your admission, whether will be admitted into a specific school or not. It does not. All they're saying is that you basically either qualify or you're not qualified.
For them.
Yes, to be eligible. Like the NCAA says you're qualified to participate as far as they're concerned, but the school is like, no, no. You need XY, you need this to be qualified to get into our school. And, and not just get into our school, but the question is, can you stay in our school? Because every school, or especially the Division I schools, not every, but they have what's called AYP, average yearly progress. And I know specifically for football and basketball, they look at the AYP. And if you cannot contribute to a positive growth in AYP, then really you're of no use to the school, because the school can be penalized if they don't meet certain benchmarks when it comes to AYP.
Right.
And those sort of things fall particularly to people of color, more precisely men.
Yeah,
men. And so we already know that coming out of high school, our young men aren't always, they're not always living up to what they need to be doing academically. And now you're actually trying to put them in a more intense academic structure, but less structure, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Because there's less structure, because you don't have to be to class at this time, every day. You got maybe 2 classes one day, 1 class one day, and that's less structure, but it's more intense and the stakes are higher.
Yeah, a lot of time management. And I think once they finish high school, the stigma goes away, right? Nobody cares you're a star athlete in your high school, right? You're not in that system anymore. Now you intermingling with kids across the nation and also across the world, right? So when we're talking about institutional control, and I always talk about it too, where the NCAA says you need this test score and this GPA to get in, but then the school might say, we don't even care about a test score.
Yes, that's true.
That's the other piece too, right? So it's kind of like we try to educate them on what's the actual process to get into the school first. Exactly. And then you talk about things like the AYP and things of that nature. That's also a business game too. And a lot of guys wonder why the men sports might have a guy on the team who's not athletically sound, but his academic profile assists the AYP. So I have a 1-for-1. If I got a kid who's really, really good, but academically like this, I'm gonna go get a kid who's not that good, but his academics is here. So now it's a trade-off.
Ooh, did you know that?
Well, I can't even. I don't even believe it. I don't even believe that.
But you know what? I can't believe. Well, see, Gregory, you went to so we both went to PWIs. Mm-hmm. And they were, he went to a D1 mid-major. I went to Seton Hall, but I was a non-revenue. I mean, we're technically in a Power 5 conference, but I was non-revenue sport, track and field. He was basketball, which is considered revenue. So, but with your particular school, the academic level that you needed to get into the school was a little bit higher than most. And so I believe it. I'm not surprised. And I can definitely automatically, I don't know if that's a prejudice or a bias on my part, but I'm like, yeah, that's football. That's football all day long. Mm-hmm. That's football. That's football.
Yeah, it's football.
Yeah, because we, who's to say what the reasons are, but with the non-revenue sports, we tend, not always, but we tend to have higher academic profiles. I don't know why. This is just me thoroughly unscientific observation, but that's what I've noticed, because when I see the teams that would be in line for highest GPA, it would be like soccer or volleyball or swimming, and it didn't matter the gender at that point. Yeah. But in certain other, I don't know.
Hey, Reggie, what's the tuition in RPA?
So we actually charge just a flat rate. It's $7,500 a semester, and that covers all of your.
You said 100?
7,500. 100.
Oh, 70.
Ooh, you're
Whoa.
still cheaper than a lot of. Oh, you're still cheaper than a lot of schools around here.
Right. So the reason why we do that is because a lot of the business partnerships that I was able to acquire over the years, we have really good relationships and really good rates. On our academic side, our classes aren't charged per hour; it's charged per class. They're all on demand classes, so we can say, "Hey, it's 500 for this one class." Right, and if you take it 4 classes, that's $2,000. Anything over that, you'll pay on an a la carte base, but we already embed 4 classes given to you off the rip, and we can do that unlike a traditional prep school because this is our new 2023 model now. Anyway, where now you could take 12 credit hours and never be a full-time student at all because the classes are independent. And they on demand, so it'll be 12 hours collected.
I was just reflecting about what my life would have been like if I'd have had a prep year.
Okay.
I had a buddy that took a prep year,
Okay.
and when he was telling me that, he couldn't qualify for the school that wanted him, so they sent him to the prep school. Played there, then got a scholarship to go to that Power 5 school.
Was it Oak Hill Academy?
No, it was Fort Union Military Academy.
Okay, yeah, we've got a couple of them around here.
So, can you kind of enlighten us, like, how does a athlete get into? Do y'all partner with a college? Like, hey, we want to see this kid play for another year, or you bring him in and he does whatever SAT prep or college entry prep, and then he goes on to the school, or how do y'all go about finding these athletes to come to your school, or not just all athletes, or I'm just needing more enlightenment on this whole prep situation.
Yeah, so the traditional prep is exactly what you mentioned, right? Where they work with certain schools. Hey, we're going to send our kid to Fort Union or Virginia, whoever, right? We're not looking at that market of athlete. We're looking at the ones who fall in that 90%, who's not going to go to college and play. Give them that foundation experience, 1 year of one last hoorah, whether they play, train, or get their academics together, choose their major, choose their career. That's our focus. Now, if they happen to be seen by a school, or they might have that bug again, they want to go to the next level, they can go and do that. But our focus is really those kids who we show up to a high school coach and he says, yeah, this kid ain't got a chance in hell to go to nowhere. Okay, cool. Well, we'll get him here. Let's not let him finish high school and then just figure it out in life. Get him still in the same environment where it's competitive, it's athletic, it's fun, but they still like learning what they would have did if they stayed home and went to a local school, right? So we're not in the game of getting a Division I athlete to come here and then sending them back to another school. We're not in the JUCO space. Now, can we prepare you for JUCO? Yes. Can we prepare you for enrollment, walk-on opportunities? Sure. Have we had Division I athletes come through here? Yes. But who we go after are those who are underprepared and undervalued, right? Those kids who just was on the team, they got some skill, but they wasn't going to go play ball. But they still might want to get into sports, whether it's broadcasting, commentating, graphic design, entrepreneurship, like those type of things. And we show them like these are things you can do within the sports realm, although you won't be up there.
Okay, so it's kind of like, because I will admit to you, when I looked at you on TikTok, I thought you were kind of like in that JUCO space where, someone who probably was good enough to play, had the skills, but didn't qualify academically. So they come to you and you focus in on their academics to help them become more academically proficient so they can get into that school and then they can go on from there. But what you're saying, what I'm understanding is like, no, this is not what that is about. What you're really focusing on are those young, at this point now, men, those young men who, for whatever reason, mostly due to academics, they didn't get a chance to go play or go to college to experience that. And they like sports. They like it really well enough that they if they have the chance, they will continue to play. But you also focus in on, listen, 80% and 95% of you are not going to go pro afterwards or even semi-pro. You will have a career in something, and we want to introduce you to that career that you may have. Yeah. Like we want to talk to you about entrepreneurship. We want to talk to you about financial literacy. We want to talk to you about, broadcasting, sports journalism, so that while you're at that school, you can be looking into those things. Because really, tell you the truth, as open as colleges and universities are, if you don't know these things exist, then you'll go 4 years and not even know.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you don't know there's a journalism school, if you never asked the question. So which brings me to my next point. What are those, you had a video said I believe it was 5 questions that a prospective student athlete should be asking when looking into their collegiate career. So what are those things? What are those questions?
So you want to ask, what's the consensus major on this team, right? You'll have guys show up to school and say, I want to be a biomedical engineer. Well, nobody on your team is majoring that. So your success rate is going to already be down because you're going to be in classes with people who weren't on the same path as you. Hey, coach, are there any majors that are off limits? Because if you're bringing me in here to play ball on scholarship, and you want me around playing sports, what majors will take me away from what you brought me here for? Are there any that's like,
like for instance, if you want to be a nurse, but you like the nursing curriculum or being majoring in nursing, usually because you have clinical hours and stuff like that, that will take you away from, practice time, film time. Yeah. That may be an off limits major.
Yeah, because I've had teammates who have to decide between clinicals and football by their junior year. So some of them pushed it off till later. Some of them said, "Hey, man, I came in to be a nurse." So, but if you don't have a plan, or you didn't ask this up front, you're gonna get hit with a curveball and like, man, I ain't know it was like that, right? And then you want to ask what resources are available in athletics for my academics. Not just tutoring, right? Like every parent who I always met with asks about tutoring. Tutoring, that's cool. But realistically, what are the tools that's available? Like internships, study groups, peer groups. Like how do y'all help? Because tutoring can be a girl just sitting in front of you saying, yeah, click A, click B, and you think that's tutoring, right? It's not tutoring. And then you want to ask about any kind of on-campus monies. Can you stack your scholarships? Like if they give you football money, can you also add the academic money on top of it? Some schools don't allow you to do that. And that way you sit and you'll say, okay, which one is more? Because if you go to school and they're giving you 80% on academics and the football is giving you 30, I've seen kids take the 30 because it's coming from athletics. So it's like, the scholarship thing is where we started this whole plan from, because I went D3 and I said, dude, I have scholarship money every semester. But the Twitter world is saying, don't go D3 because they don't give money. They don't give athletic money, but at the end of the day, all that money comes from the same pool. So where do you get the most of it from though, right? So ask that.
Absolutely.
And then
because if not, as they say, the math ain't mathing. You was like, it was 80% and you had 30%, but you take the 30, the math ain't mathing, as they say.
And then you end up going, right? And then I always say, ask about any merit-based, right? Any merit-based money, every kid on the campus, they qualify for. You got to figure out what the requirements were. And that's what led me to my video saying the NCAA doesn't dictate you getting to school. Because they might ask you for a 3.2 and be in the top 10% of your school to get this money. But you was like, well, I get scholarship from football. Well, what if you wasn't that good? And they don't give you no athletic money. But you could have still went and got some academic money, walk into the coach office and say, look, all I want is a shot to play ball. My school paid for it. Give me a shot. You cost that coach no money. Now we're talking business. And like we talked about the AYP, you're an academic kid, the money good, and you can play a little bit. and you're going to help my team, I think they're going to give you an offer to come play. But if you're showing up saying, what you going to give me, what you going to give me, what you going to give me athletically, and they say, well, we don't have no spots. We don't have no space. And then what? You just walk away?
Well, that's how walk-ons happen then, huh?
You can only take a walk-on if you have academics. That's why I tell every kid, do not take a walk-on just to go try out and make a scholarship. Because what if you don't get it till your junior year? Can you really afford $65,000 a year for 2 years?
Ooh, okay, that's a good thing. Only take a walk-on position if you got money coming from someplace else, meaning a merit-based scholarship or something like that. Okay. See, I'm learning so much. Like, this is like, I'm getting like so much good, deep information, because not only do I coach at the collegiate level, but I do teach. I'm still an educator in high school, and I talk to athletes all the time. And I always ask them, well, what do you want to do? And, I always say when they tell me about the school, whether they do athletics or not, I say, go to a school that you can afford. Really, it really comes down to what you can afford. Get the best school that you can afford. But I do love, like, I'm going to do playback because I want to hear all this again, because it was like really good in what you said.
Yeah.
As we graduated, we had options. You're getting out, so you ain't got a scholarship. Go get in the military, get the GI Bill, and then do your thing.
We didn't have to go into the military.
I mean, you had to go work.
Well, yeah, you had to do something.
If you wanted to go to school, because our parents weren't going to pay for it, you had to have a scholarship, and then the GI Bill, right? Okay. Like you said, I'm learning all this stuff now. It's like it's other avenues to go through. Because for me, and I advocate to a lot of young kids, like, I'm like, hey, first of all, school ain't for everybody. So if you don't like school, then forget about it. Go to the military. And a lot of it. Then I didn't even know all these options about how to, you get the 80% and then use that. And now your AYP makes you more attractive if you're gonna play a little bit and that sort of thing. But you said, Reggie, you said that coming out of school. So let's go back to your story. You're a football player. You was in high school. Was coming off the bench, or had an injury, or just had no grades.
Oh, no.
How to go to the military? How to go?
So my daddy was in the military, right? And I moved with him. My daddy, I went to 4 high schools in 4 years in 4 different states. So
because your family was moving a lot.
Yeah. So every year, my freshman year, I was in Illinois. My sophomore year, I was in Houston. And my junior year, I was in Mississippi. And I went back to New Orleans for my senior year. And then Katrina happened. I went back to Houston, and I went back to Louisiana. And when I graduated high school, nobody was talking about, well, one, that's on me too. I didn't go to my counselor. I didn't ask questions about college. I thought anybody who was in college was going to the league. So I wasn't trying to even go to school, because I was like, dude, but I was on varsity every school that I went to from freshman year up. But I left school. I got a letter in the mail from Prairie View A&M. I drove to Houston. I enrolled for like 2 weeks. I ain't do no financial aid. I ain't talked to the financial aid office. I ain't know anything. I was just in the dorm, right? And they gave me a bill, and I was like, well, I can't afford this. So I went home. I was home for like 2 weeks, and I was like, I'm gonna go join the Coast Guard, right? So I drive to the office. It says guard. I was just roaming around aimlessly. It says guard. I walk in. I was like, hey, I'm looking for the Coast Guard. The guy said, this the wrong office. This the National Guard. I was like, oh, my bad. I'm leaving out. He was like, hey, hold on. He was like, we got $20,000 bonus, and we'll pay for school. Well,
okay, so let's leave it right there, because that's the cliffhanger. Because guess what? We have time. So we got to. But good news is that Reggie will be back for another episode, and then we're going to find out what happens at the end of this cliffhanger. So with everybody, all our friends, we like to say, what do we like to say, Reggie?
You ain't telling me who's coming back for 2 minutes. If you say stop, we coming back. Don't tell me how long we coming back for, bro.
What do we like? In closing, we always like to say to our people,
deuces.
Deuces. Peace. To the next time for the Veronica Harris Show.
Y'all are funny.